8 o'clock in the morning, I'll have fish and a rice cake. All right, welcome back to Fish and a Rice Cake. I'm Jake.
I'm Jake.
And we're back, season 2, episode 2. Probably won't do that count on every single
No,
episode, but
don't start that. Don't start that.
it's a nice novelty.
Yeah, in a few episodes, you'll be like, what episode are you on again?
Yeah, we're out of a clue.
I think we tried that the
I'll be
first time
impressed if I
round.
remember to mark these as season 2, to be honest with you. Not
I
just
think we tried
continue.
that the first time round, didn't we? We got to like episode and we were like, we
Yeah,
don't
forget
know
about it.
where we are
Forget
now.
about it. But no, back to give our opinions, rants on everything fitness, training, nutrition, to hopefully give you a bit of advice that's going to help you get the result you want and not just feel confused wading through the crock of shit advice that there is out there and the liver kings and the carnivores of the
Is he
world.
still around? Is he
I think
still?
he is, but I don't know in what context. I saw a video of him the other day doing some weird shit with bands. It looked like some sort of dominatrix setup that he was apparently training his abs on. Literally, if you get, he's attached to he's got a big frame around him, a big steel frame, and he's got literally about 10 different resistance bands hanging from this frame that he's put himself into. And he's just like going side to side. But people are saying like he's photoshopped his abs because when you watch his abs in it, they're just fixed. They don't move. So when he's moving side to side and rotating, his abs are just like a block.
I mean, I do actually think so. I think social media is doing like a bit of a 360 at the moment. So
Yeah.
do you know, and you'll know what I mean here when I say this, but obviously we went through a period of like, maybe it's just my algorithms that don't show me it as much anymore, but like obviously Eddie Abu was fucking everywhere. Obviously the Liver King was everywhere. And I think it was just these people just like making outlandish statements, doing crazy
Yeah.
fucking things. And it was getting tons and tons of attention, obviously, as it would do. And I think at first it was really working. And for them in particular, obviously, like they've made millions off it, like it is what it is, through spreading shit information. But it seems to have done a bit of a 360. I think people are sick of hearing it now.
Well,
And
I think the whole stuff, obviously, with what's he called, Stephen Chatshit's being called out anti for his podcast, Diary of a
yeah.
CEO.
Oh, he
Because,
does my fucking head in.
but he's now being like, even like in terms of like BBC headlines are now calling him out for basically spreading dangerous health advice and
Yeah.
propaganda and shit. And it's like, yeah, we've been saying this for like the last 2 years. He's just getting guests on that are absolutely
Clickbait. Yeah.
fucking
And it
clowns.
does me head in though, because I remember when he was like, before people started actually calling him out, I think we've been calling him out for ages, but like before people actually started calling him out, like with more authority
Yeah.
than us, so more of a platform than us. Like we were saying, like there was and there was clients who were coming to me saying, listen to Thingy's podcast, and they had someone saying this, like, what do you think about that? And I'm like, it's a load of shit. Ignore it. Like just
He's
stop.
got, when it comes to fitness nutrition, he's got 2 episodes worth listening to, which is Lane Norton and
Yeah.
Mike Israel.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think
That's
he's
the only
done.
two I can think
Has he
of.
done? Oh no, it's Chris Williamson who's done 2 with Mike
He's
Israel.
done Mike as well. When it comes to the nutrition, but the ridiculous thing is, he'll have 10 episodes of people being like, honey's trying to kill you,
Mhm.
like fucking oil, like anything, like ridiculous diet saying that you need to be fasting for.
Calories don't matter.
Yeah,
Fucking
calories don't matter. All these
it was
kind
the insulin spiking kind of whole thing and the Zoe stuff for ages.
Yeah, and then he gets someone on who's actually talking sense, very, very rare, like Lane Norton and Mike Israel, and he's like acting as though, oh, this is incredible, this, that, and the other. And then the next week, he just gets some other fucking clown on, and then he's acting like that's correct, and you just,
It's all
yeah,
clickbait. It's all clickbaity bullshit.
of
And
course it is.
yeah,
But
it's good to hear that he's been called out. But yeah, as I say, I think it's I do think Instagram's doing a bit of a 360 and people are becoming more savvy to
mm,
people talking shit, just like and just trying to be outlandish with statements and things.
I
Hopefully, anyway.
think it's, I don't think it just applies to that. I think it's just a complete movement of like over edited, over filtered content. It's
Yeah.
very much sort of being pushed out and like just now natural, raw, like true to life videos and photos and information. It seems to be the more
Yeah,
favorable
well,
thing at the
I mean,
minute.
we've always spoke about this, haven't we? And like, listen, we could have probably built bigger social media followings and done and stuff if we had been more outlandish with our statements and tried all, and do you know what I'm saying? Just said,
Mhm.
gone on looking for attention essentially. But that's never been our thing. Like our thing has been no, like we've got values, we stick to our values. Obviously, like that's never going to get attention. You're never going to get thousands of followers through telling people that actually calories do matter.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. But I think we knew that we wanted to be in this for the long term, obviously. And the problem is those if you are going to go down that route of chasing followers and chasing likes and chasing views and building a business based on bullshit, basically, like it's only going to be very short lived, and like we just never want to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and
But
that,
yeah, it's
and for the fact of Eddie Abu's coming seems like pretty much gone now. I'm
yeah.
not. I know he's still got a shitload of followers, but there's certainly not the same hype around him or anything like that.
Doesn't have the
Uh,
same cult following, I think. But I think
doesn't at
people have
all.
realized because even he's like, listen, at the start, like he was saying some half sensible stuff, and it just got more and
Yeah,
more and more ridiculous
yeah,
to the point where I think people were like, "This guy's lost his fucking head." Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Like it was almost like he had to say something more ridiculous in his next video because his last video didn't get as many views. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's what
yeah,
it
yeah.
felt like in the end. Like he was chasing that dopamine hit constantly.
Yeah. Whereas we've been here for what now, 5, 6 years, still doing the same thing. Obviously, not got anywhere near the following that he has, but the more important thing is we're still putting out consistent results all the time. We're still getting great feedback from people. I don't know the last time, I don't know if I ever had a bad feedback from someone. Like,
No.
whereas, there's nothing crazy, there's nothing outlandish. It's just common sense for the most part that we're
Yeah.
helping people apply to get into the shape that they want to be, and we're still here, right? And we're still doing the same thing.
Yeah, which is why we were privileged enough to do the talk, which we spoke about in the last episode, to the other coaches, and like literally everything we try and do is, and we spoke about our values, is like if we be a good coach, we stick to our values, we talk about what we're passionate about, we show our opinions, and we also kind of show our journey as well. Like you were saying about the kind of not hyper edited stuff. I feel like without realizing it, we've always been quite good at just documenting our journey.
Mm,
Whether we realized that we were good at it at the start and that was part of our plan and we just did it, I don't know. But we've always been quite good at that. We're probably not quite as good nowadays because we've got busier with life and busy with work. But like that style of content and that message, I think will always outweigh in
yeah,
the long term, certainly, it will always be more important and more valuable than just spouting bullshit. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? And it's like,
yeah. I think that's what we were going to chat about today, wasn't it? A bit because it's been a mad year for results all around and client working with clients all around, but we've particularly had a busy year with the photo shoot side of things. So we've had 3 big shoots this year, 3 big group shoots, which for us they're as much of a social as they are an actual, serious reason to get together for a photo shoot. Like we just like to see everybody and have a good night out together afterwards. Um, but we wanted to talk about that. We've had 60 plus people through doing photo shoots, getting into really, really impressive condition.
I think
Um,
that's a minimum as well. Like,
yeah, it's
I
probably
mean, the summer shoot, there was probably 30 people there, and then
yeah,
you think about 20, just probably more like 70 people. And
yeah,
as you said in the last episode, that's just the people who've done shoots. There's hundreds of others who haven't wanted to do a photo shoot, which is completely fine, who've probably still got just as good results, but they just haven't, been there, which is a shame. Obviously, we'd love to have as many people as possible, but yeah, it's been a mad year, and like you say, it's obviously for us like shoots are they're probably the highlight of our year, really, aren't they? In terms of from a
yeah,
professional
definitely.
standpoint, because obviously getting people together who have all been working towards the same goal. We've spoken about it on previous episodes. Like you don't, I think people are very nervous, and it might not be their thing. And I get it, like photo shoots aren't my thing, but when you get there and you're surrounded by other people who have been going through the same journey as you, the same process as you, the same struggles as you. It's so funny because you're going to like we go into Bailey's studio and nobody's met each other, obviously, just like, or they might have, but they might have spoken or whatever, but they've not met each other in person. And everyone starts dead cagey and dead nervous. And then obviously we go in, we see the studio. As soon as I have that first picture, everyone just starts like chatting. They start going, fucking hell, I can't believe that's me. The confidence levels come up. And it's almost like these people who have never met, and they might not even get on outside of, as daft as it sounds, like outside of this setting. Like they create this little bit of a bond. And then we have a really good day with a photo shoot. Everyone has a laugh, and we always go out afterwards, whether it's for a burger or generally it's beer pong and just have a good time. And it's like you say, it's as much of a social for us
Yeah,
as it is the actual photo shoot itself. But yeah, no, it's been a big year. It's been a good year.
but it's not been done again, like quite relevantly from what we're talking about. It's not been, it doesn't happen from anything crazy. Like it's not, we're not getting. Don't get me wrong, like it's a lot of work and it requires a lot of dedication and it does require sacrifice and things like that in terms of not eating or drinking out quite as much and things like that, but there's nothing crazy that the guys are having to do to get into that kind of shape. It's just simple things done consistently over time that gets the result. They're not having to only eat eggs for every meal of the day. They're not having to fast for 12 hours of the day. You're not having to avoid every single carbohydrate. In fact, for the most part, we try and talk them into eating more carbs to help fill
Yeah.
them up. Like, so there's definitely like I think we were talking about like three key things that we feel make the difference for people getting into that kind of photo shoot shape. Um,
Yeah, because like you say, I think if you're looking in from the outside and you're seeing those kind of results, and I get it to a certain extent, like so, like even if you landed on our pages and you see the results, you might think, oh, I can never achieve that. Like that would never be.
mm,
And I understand that because that was probably me at some stage as well. Like looking in on the outside, thinking I'll never get that kind of result. And I understand because it does look intimidating, it does look really impressive, and it is, but it's actually just a lot more basic than what you think.
mm,
And I think that's what we wanted to talk about today, wasn't it? You know, we
yeah.
wanted to outline maybe listen, there's lots of caveats to everything we're going to talk about, and we'll talk maybe discuss some of those little nuances, but it's pretty simple.
Yeah. I mean, the first point of the three literally being it's as simple as protein and calories.
Yeah,
Like it really is like if you have a consistent protein target, you're in a consistent calorie deficit that may need to increase in that deficit over time, over the
yeah,
course of you getting leaner. But as long as you're staying within that and you're moving regularly, like you're gonna get leaner. You obviously can have full macros, and we do give macros to people, but it's not essential. It's not the thing that makes the difference. The difference is having that protein target, having that calorie target, and sticking in it. We don't give meal plans out. We're not asking the guys, right? Meal one, here's some salmon and asparagus. Meal two, here's some chicken and rice and broccoli. Meal three, here's some minced beef and rice cakes. Like, that's not, it might be how I eat when I diet, but it's not how they eat when they diet. Like, it is literally a case of, right, well, let's just see how you're currently eating at the minute. Let's give you a protein and a calorie target, and let's adjust how you currently eat to fit that target. And then we rinse and repeat it.
yeah. And it's crazy in it because like I think people will overcomplicate it sometimes and think that it does have to be specific macros. And listen, that's not me sat here saying that macros aren't beneficial because I think if you were to concentrate a little, certainly the deeper you get into like a photo shoot prep, for example, or a diet, there's probably a little bit of benefit to focusing a bit more on carbs and
100%.
fats.
If you can use them, they are useful to use, but they're not the thing that
No,
causes fat
no,
loss.
like for literally 99% of my clients, and even if I give them a carb and a fat target, it's just loose. I'm always like, listen, I don't want you to over stress these numbers. Like, if you get close to them, like, amazing, but don't worry. Like, always focus on protein and calories. And I'll stress that in every single check in. Like, they are our two pillars. Anything else after that is almost like a bonus, if we've got certain numbers that we're working towards. But if you can do that, and again, it's so fucking boring to say, but you can do that consistently, day in, day out, for a long period of time, you will get great results. And even then, like I think sometimes some of my clients will be like, "You're not changing my calories for weeks, Jake." I'm like, "Yeah, well, there's no need to. Like, you're losing body
Yeah,
fat.
you're getting leaner.
You don't. The whole point is like we keep things as straightforward as possible, and this is why people don't get results because they're always looking to change something. They're always looking for okay, what's the next thing? There is no next thing. There is literally no next thing.
Mm.
If you're getting adequate protein in, you're training well enough, you're ticking those boxes in terms of movement and stuff, and you're sticking to your calories, and your weight is coming down and your body fat is dropping, you have got nothing that needs changing. Like nothing.
Yeah.
That it's mad, isn't it?
And I think it's like, I think sometimes people expect us to at some point, like 6 weeks in, 8 weeks in, be like, right now, start taking this supplement, or now start cutting this food out, or start doing this training plan, and you'll see a shit ton of fat loss. And it's like that doesn't exist because if it did exist, we'd give you it on day one because we want we
Yeah.
want to help you get as lean as you can as quick as you can. So we'd give you it straight away. Like we're not
Yeah.
holding anything back. It is literally just no hit your deficit, be consistent with it, and the weight will come off over time. If it starts to slow down, we'll eat a little bit less. We might need to move a little bit more.
Yeah.
It gets difficult. Again, we're not saying as simple as it is. We're not saying it's easy because it isn't. The guys who've just done the recent blitz shoot will tell you like it's hard. You will be hungry. You will be tired at times. But it is as simple as that. You just need to be organized with your food.
Yeah, and that's it. And listen, a lot of our clients nowadays are coaches who know this. Like the vast majority of them will know the nuances of fat loss. They'll understand that it is calories. They'll understand it is protein. And this is what we bang on about all the time. It's so boring. But the reason that people come to us, or coaches in particular, maybe not more normal people, don't like it's ridiculous thing to say. People who aren't coaches, is they know what they need to do. They aren't coming to us to be told to eat more protein and eat less calories. They're just not. What they're coming to us is for is support, structure, and accountability. Because actually, as you just said, when it comes to fat loss, when it comes to building muscle, again, there's caveats to everything, of course there is, but the general science and the theory behind what we're trying to achieve is ridiculously simple, like ridiculously.
Mm.
Actually sticking to that when you've got a new baby, when you've got other shit going on, when you've got life stresses, work stresses, when you've got social events, when you've got things, when you've got normal life to contend with, actually doing the things, the simple things, is actually very, very tough. And that's why people come into coaching. It isn't to be told to drop your calories by 100 this week. It isn't that. It isn't that. It's over time, it might be. There's, like I say, nuances as we get leaner and stuff, but actually, it is more holding you accountable to doing the things that you know you probably should be doing.
Yeah, yeah. It's literally that. And I mean, when you take a look at like the people that we have helped get into shape, how many times have you had the feedback from them saying the coaching was amazing, which, all right, all the time, thank you very much. But they say the coaching was amazing. Like, I learned so much about nutrition. I never knew that I didn't know this about carbs or this about fats, or I was missing, it was only because I was
Never
doing
that, is
this
it?
piece of
Never
nutrition
that.
information. Never. I've never had that feedback of, oh, I never realized I just needed to know this about nutrition or training to get in shape. It's literally always been the support's been amazing.
Yeah.
You've checked in with me every single week. You've understood me. You've listened to me. You've helped adjust the plan when I
Yeah.
was really struggling. Like,
You've met me
that's
where I'm at.
literally
You've
it.
understood me. You've understood me as a human being and like how,
Yeah.
I know I've had ups and downs and I appreciate you for supporting me through that. Like that's the stuff which people say. They're not like, oh, thank you so much for dropping my calories on week 8 by 100.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's because you don't even remember that stuff.
No.
It's just irrelevant. It's pointless. So yeah, it is as simple as protein and calories. But but again, just caveating that, actually sticking to the protein calories, that's the hard thing.
Yeah. Point number two is that you will almost definitely have more weight to lose than you think to get into the shape you want to be. And as a consequence of that, it will take you longer than you think it will take.
Always, 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 always. Like this is the most important thing. I think, as a job, as a coach, one of our main jobs is managing people's expectations around this when they come into coaching. Because listen, I understand like you might think, and I've had this in the past. That I remember doing my last shoot prep. I was thinking, I'll only need to lose 5 or 6 kilos and I'll be sweet, it'll be fine, like done in 8 weeks, whatever. Lost the 5 or 6 kilos. I was like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
I've
I
probably
did the
got at
same
least
thing.
double this to go.
Yeah, I did this. The last shoe prep we did last year, I started at 82 kilos, right? And I was like, right, 15 kilos, and I'll be shoot ready. I'll be absolutely fine. We dropped 15 kilos, and we're still like, I've got more to lose. I ended up dropping 20 kilos for that
Yeah,
shoot prep, and that was like my fifth or sixth shoot prep I've ever done. So
yeah.
you could argue that I should know by now what kind of weight I'd be. But obviously, you hope that you put more muscle on between the shoots. But literally, I was like, yeah, I thought it'd be 15 kilos and done, and 20 needed to lose more.
That's what I mean. It's crazy. And I've just had someone who came to the shoot and it was his second shoot, Chris
Yeah.
Farish.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so like he did the first blitz last year. He did blitz last year.
Yeah, yeah, I
Just
remember.
that, and he lost like he did really well because again, similar to you, he just had literally just had his baby at the start of blitz. And he dropped 12 kilos in 12 weeks on blitz, which was amazing given the
Very,
circumstances.
very good.
But he rocked up to the shoot and he's like, I thought I'd be shredded. He was like, I'm far from it. This is
Yeah.
mental. He's like, 12 kilos is, and Chris won't mind me saying this, like it was a drop in the ocean for him. It really,
Yeah.
really was. Like I was like, mate, if you want to get shoot shape, there's so much more work to do here. And there always is. And like the reality is as well, you're not always going to be able to do it all in one go. And I think that's something that people can't always necessarily get their head around. Like we try and break it down into manageable chunks for our clients. So for
Yeah.
example, let's take Chris as a really good example. So he did 12 weeks on Blitz, lost 12 kilos. Brilliant work, right? But he knew he wanted to do more. I knew he wanted to do more. He came into one-to-one coaching. So for me, it was Mal then going, listen, we just need to relax a bit because we have just dropped 12 kilos. You've got a new baby. Let's just kind of understand life a bit more. So we went into maintenance for a month or two, chilled out, brought calories up, enjoyed his training a bit more. We had a few stag do's and stuff. We managed to keep weight really, really steady, which he didn't see as a massive victory at the time. I was like, mate, this is really, really good because that's the hardest thing actually is
Mhm.
maintaining that. And then we dropped another 12 kilos for the second shoot. Do you know what I mean? So like the progress was like that.
Yeah.
But like that, he had to lose 24 kilos
Yeah.
in the end.
And that second shoot, he looked fucking fun. Like
Yeah,
I
and
didn't recognize him for the first 5 minutes when I was chatting to him. Like,
that's
'cause he
what I
had like a
mean.
hat on and a big coat, and he's so
Yeah.
much leaner in his face. I was
Yeah,
like,
but it just kind of it just shows that, and that's over the course of a year that we've had to do that,
yeah,
And it's like it is that way, unfortunately. And I think people again, talking from experience, they think it's going to be a few kilograms, and I'm going to, yeah, sweet. You've
Yeah.
always got more, always, always, always got more, and it's always beneficial to lose more as well.
Yeah.
Do you know? I think we've spoken about this in the past. Like you're always better off getting leaner than what you want to be and getting
Yeah.
out your comfort zone and pushing it a bit further. Because listen, by whether you want to or not, you will always gain a bit more weight. There will always be like I find there's like an equilibrium where like you feel comfortable, and
Mm.
often it's never at your leanest. Like you're never going to be happy staying there because life will be shit. So you're always going to gain 2, 3, 4 kilos. Like it's going to happen. Like whether
Mm.
you want to or not, it's going to happen. So if you always want to kind of knock off that little bit more than what you need, so that when you do add another 2, 3 kilos after the diet, like it's fine. Like you're still going to be really comfortable and like learn how to maintain that. And then that way, if you ever wanted to do another shoot, or if you ever wanted to just get yourself into that kind of shape to go on holiday for a wedding or whatever it might be, you're never far away from it. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
no. And I think with that as well, like people talk about wanting balance between like the fitness and the life and stuff. And I always think that going further than you think you need to for a goal gives you better balance in the long term
Yeah,
because it gives you a better
100%.
perspective of the amount of effort required to get to. Like, if you were 80 kilos and you were like, oh, I'd love to just be 70 kilos and maintain it and be balanced at 70 kilos, my thought would always be, right, well, let's get you down to 65, maybe even
Yeah.
closer to 60. Because if you can do that and you can put in the work to get to that, well, then maintaining 70 is going to seem pretty fucking easy
Yeah.
by comparison. Whereas if you only ever got to 70 and then maintain that, well, now you've got to maintain the most work essentially you've ever done to get there in the first place. So it's going to feel like a daily battle. So I think it gives you that greater perspective of just how much you're capable of doing and then how easy it is to maintain a particular weight somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, and it builds like a bit of a work ethic and stuff. And as you say, like I'm very much someone who enjoys balance in life. I enjoy a beer, I enjoy a pizza and
Mm.
things, but I've had to work really hard to get that balance right over the years, like really hard.
Yeah.
And I still not mastered it to a certain extent. Like there's still ups and downs with that. But it's you do have to get out your comfort zone. Like you have to go further than what you think in order to bring that balance back. But the further you go, like you say, for me, the more
Yeah.
balance you'll have then in life longer term, like without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. And then I think just on top of that, you need to, when you're deciding how much time to give yourself, you need to figure out roughly how much you think you've got to lose. I would probably then add on an extra 4 or 5 kilos.
Yeah.
You want to then realize that you're probably going to lose a percent a week on average if you're doing well. So then
I mean,
that
and that's really good. Like,
yeah,
really,
and
really
that's
good.
good. So that gives you like a weekly amount to be like, okay, if I want to lose 8 or 9 kilos at 1% a week, I can figure out how many weeks that's going to be. And then you probably want to add another 4 weeks on top of it because you're going to get ill. You're going to
You
have
can be ill. You can have
emergencies come up.
weekends away. You can have socials. Your
Yeah,
kids are going to get ill. Like, there's shit's going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like with Blitz. Like, again, like we're very clear with our blitzes when they come in. Like, they will get amazing results within 12 weeks. Like, of course they will. But it's probably not all of
it
their
won't be
results.
the end. It won't be
It
the end
won't be
point
the
for them.
end, like because it's just not long enough, and it wouldn't be long enough if I decided to really go for it now for whatever reason. Like for me to get to the kind of condition I'd want to be in, maybe if nothing happened within that 12 weeks, I'd manage it. But that's not going to be the case. Like I
Yeah.
don't have a life where nothing happens. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you've always, always, always give yourself way longer than what you think. Always.
Yeah, and the final point I think is just don't do it alone. If you try and do it alone, it'll be the hardest thing you either ever do or the hardest thing you're never able to do, if that makes sense, because you never
Yeah.
quite get to that result that you want to get to. It's because it's tough. And that's like we're talking from experience there. Like I've done photo shoot preps where I've coached myself for it. And it just consumes you every single thought. Every day you're thinking, right, am I losing weight at the rate I need to be? Am I seeing the changes I should be changing? I should be seeing. Am I eating the right amount of food? Do I need to drop my food? Do I need to do more cardio? Like you're constantly questioning. And then if anything comes up, you're like, right, how do I work this in? Where do I take my food from? Should I take it from today? Should I take it from tomorrow? How much should I take? It's all, and like I've had it in the past where I've done it myself. And so it's like, it's all you talk about because it's just always on your mind. You compare that then to when I've done shoots with a coach. Like the most recent one, I don't really ever really thought about it. It was just I
Mhm.
got my targets, I got my plan, I just cracked on with it. I never really felt too much like I was struggling. I didn't have to think about if I needed to make any changes or if I was losing weight quick enough because it was all being done for me. I just cracked on and got on with everything else that I needed to get on with.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is that. It is like, I mean, it's obviously the accountability to do that stuff as well. Like,
Mm,
again, you could design very comfortably, you could design like your plan for the next 12 weeks to get yourself lean, but actually then sticking to it as well and having someone to check in with and someone else to critique it is really important. And as human beings, I just think we are naturally our worst critics.
Yeah,
Like you always overthink things. You'll get emotional because you're talking about your own progress. And this is something that I think you'll agree, right? Is within my check-ins, half the time it's just managing people's emotions around stuff.
yeah,
And like I'll have people checking like I've had a really bad week. I'm like, you've dropped a kilo. Like,
yeah,
what are you on
yeah,
about? Do
yeah,
you know? And it's because you can't contextualize it properly yourself, and you need someone to zoom out and give you the bigger picture.
yeah,
And if you try and do that, you'll get one, you'll get lost in the data, and two, you'll just be like, you'll always kind of play, you'll always think you're doing worse than what you are. Do you know what I mean?
mm,
And that'll lead you to want to do more. And then that leads to burnout. And then that leads to not doing it at all. Do you know? And it's just a it's a really vicious cycle. And I'm talking through experience here as well. Like, again, similar to Jake, I've tried to do things on my own. I'm not saying I haven't had some success with them because I have. Like, and again, we're coaches, so we're probably a little bit more well equipped to do this. But for me, the best results have always come with a coach. The same reason I still have a coach now. Is
yeah,
like it's not. I haven't even got any crazy like composition goals right now. But actually, for me, again, going back to what we were speaking about earlier, having balance and stuff, that's still something I'm working on, and I need a coach for that. Do you know what I mean? I need a coach to help me kind of find that. So having a coach certainly for getting yourself into like photo shoot shape, getting yourself lean, mega important, but for everything else as well.
yeah. It just, yeah. Again, it just comes back to the thing. We never have anyone give us feedback saying, the nutrition targets you gave me were amazing. The sets and reps that you gave me were perfect. It's always the support, the accountability, the structure. Like that's the thing that makes a difference. Like
Yeah.
it's literally that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think it's just one of those like, the longer you wait to actually pull the pin on something like this, if you are, if you sat there kind of like, I'd love to do a shoot one day, or not even a shoot, but I just love to see how good a condition I could get into. I'd love to see how lean I could get, or what muscle I've built up over the years working, training in the gym. I'd love to see what muscle I've got underneath. The longer you wait to pull the pin on that and actually just get started, the less likely it is to ever happen.
Yeah.
Like you do just need to at some point just be like, fuck it, I'm getting started. I don't care what's going on. I don't care what's coming up. All right, maybe don't do it Christmas Eve. But bar that, you might be like, you just need to be like, I'm just gonna start. I just need to get going.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, it's a little bit too late now, I suppose, in the year by the time this comes out, especially. But like the best clients I've had are the ones who join when like life is probably the busiest, if that
Mm,
makes sense, because they accept that actually like life is never going to be straightforward. They're always going to be busy, so they might as well just start chipping away at things and accept it's not going to be perfect.
yeah,
And that mindset just gets you so much further than like waiting for that clear run because I don't know about you, but I can't remember the last time I had a clear run. I just
definitely
can't
not
remember.
anymore.
Does it? Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't fucking happen. Like it does not happen. And the older you get, the more responsibilities you get. You get kids and blah blah blah. Like it actually gets worse and worse and worse in terms of that. So
Yeah.
you just have to start doing the thing and like accept that some weeks aren't going to be perfect. And yeah, having that support is it's fucking invaluable actually. And like
Mm.
we're probably quite bad at blowing our own trumpet and talking about the importance of coaching because we feel like we're being salesy. We're not saying it from a salesy standpoint. Like, obviously, we're amazing coaches. If you want to get coached by us, that's cool. But we're not saying it like that. We're saying it because we just know the importance of it. We know the value of it. And that's why we have coaches ourselves. So
Yeah,
have someone in your corner that is pretty important.
it is. I think that's it. That's the
Yeah.
three main things from getting 60 plus guys into photo shoot shape this year. And look, we've already got next year and 2026 lined up, haven't we? We've got three shoots booked for next year already. I think the first of which, or the first two of which are going to be on the 31st of May because we've got the
Yeah.
Blitz and the one-to-one summer
It's going
shoot
to be a crazy day.
on the
I've actually,
31st
I've got
Tuesday.
3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 13 of my own one-to-ones already for that.
Have
I know
you?
yeah, I know you're
I've got
like,
about four or five at the minute, but I've not really put
yeah, and
any feelers out yet.
That'll go up. So you were probably talking like 20 plus one-to-ones that day, isn't as a
Yeah,
minimum, plus 20 plus splits. So like that one day alone is going to be 40 people, which is
yeah.
crazy. And that's going to be a good social because we're all going to go out together
It'd be a
afterwards.
very good social. Yeah.
Jesus. Right, it's gonna
So if you do want to be part of them, or if you want some information on them, obviously just drop one of us a message on Instagram or anything like that, and we can have a chat with you about it. But
I
beyond
would
that,
like, subscribe and shit. We don't say that enough, do we?
we never really say it. No,
No, no.
because
Like,
we always assume that no one listens, but then we actually get some quite nice feedback on it, which
do
is
you know what?
the main
That
reason, or not the main reason, but a big reason why we've brought this back is because we were actually so surprised at just how many messages we got from people disappointed that we'd stopped doing them for a bit. Like we
yeah,
genuinely realized many people were obviously we see the download numbers, but we didn't actually think anyone within our own sort of little um
World.
world was really paying much attention to it. But apparently they are, which is nice.
No, it is nice, and it's
I
like
don't
we
know
were
why,
just
but they
saying
are.
then, like even since we stopped doing it, like the amount of downloads that are still coming through per week, it's pretty mad, really. It's pretty crazy. Like I was not expecting to see that at all, but it's cool. It's very,
Yeah,
very cool. And
yeah.
they've actually, do you know what's interesting? They've gone up recently. And I
They
wonder
have
why
gone up again recently.
they have, haven't they? I wonder if that's because maybe we're doing more with like vlogging and stuff. Maybe it all kind of
Maybe.
coincides.
Yeah,
Uh,
maybe. Maybe we're
Either
just
way,
famous. We're just famous, mate.
just famous, yeah. Famous. Made
Too big
it.
time nowadays.
Too big time. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. And hopefully you're enjoying season two.
Catch
And we'll see you guys in the next one.
you in the next one.